Welcome to Vance Tried It. Today, we're going to be making a low-carb chicken pizza. What makes it low-carb, you might ask? That's simple. We're going to be making our crust out of chicken. Let's see how we're going to do that. First off, we're going to put on our handy-dandy kitchen gloves. I always like to use kitchen gloves when I'm getting my hands all up into any sort of a ground meat. And we're going to be using some ground chicken here in just a minute. And so while I'm putting these gloves on, would y'all do me a favor? Would you go down in the comment section? Let me know, what is your favorite pizza? My favorite pizza is pepperoni, ham, pineapple, and jalapeno all on one pizza. And let me know, what is your favorite pizza? And hey, while you're down there, go ahead and like this video. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe and ring that bell. That way you get notified whenever I post a new video. But my gloves are on, and so what we have here is 1 pound of ground chicken. Just gonna put that in our mixing bowl here. We're going to add to that a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. And then we're going to put in here 1 egg and some spices. So we have here a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a teaspoon of ranch mix, along with probably about a quarter to half a spoon of salt and pepper. And we're just going to put that all right there in the mix, and we're going to get our hands in here and just get it all mixed up. And we're just going to go until we don't see any of that Parmesan cheese or egg, just basically where we don't see any of the specific ingredients that are really super identifiable. And this is going to stay fairly wet. So we're just going to keep going. Because it's low carb, we're not putting any flour in there, so we don't have anything that's going to kind of dry all our wet stuff out. So just get it mixed up a little bit. We're going to set that off to the side. We're going to bring up here our baking sheet that we have covered with some parchment paper. And then we're just going to take our pizza dough and we're going to slap it right down here on this parchment paper, and we're just going to get it nice and thin. And we do want it pretty thin, okay? And so kind of work it kind of like you're working really any sort of a pizza dough. And that is, just start in the middle and get the middle where you think it needs to be as far as thickness. And then just keep working out so you can get it nice and thin. As you can see, this makes a pretty big pizza. Probably, I haven't measured it, but it's probably 14, 15 inches here, which is a really nice size pizza. That's going to be a large almost any place you go. And if you see any holes, just cover them up. Just like that, nice and even. Got it on there, spread out, nice and thin. And now we have our oven heated up to 425 degrees. And we're going to start off by putting this in the oven for 10 minutes. And then I'll get back to you and show you the next step. Okay, so we have taken our crust out of the oven, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take it off of the parchment. We just have to work our spatula here. Just get it all loose around here. Like that. We just Work it off just a little at a time. You probably have to slide the entire parchment, slide the crust a little bit, and then you can just slide it right out. We're going to want to try and get most of the juices to stay on our parchment here. All right, so now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to soak up some of the fluids off of here. We don't want them draining into our oven. But more than that, you really want to do this even if you're using like a sheet pan and it has edges and you're not worried about it going into the oven. You still want to do this because part of what we want to do is we want to let this get crisped up. And if we leave all that fluid on here, then we're going to not let it get crispy like we want it. So we've gone ahead and done that. Put it on our actual baking sheet. And that's also going to help it get crispy. That's really why we took that parchment paper off of there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put it back in the 425-degree oven for another 15 minutes. And then we'll get ready to do the rest of this low-carb buffalo chicken pizza. All right, so I actually ended up leaving this in there for about another 22 minutes just because I wanted to make sure it was nice and crisp. And that's kind of what you're looking for on here. You're looking for it to start to turn a really nice golden brown. And so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to our next step. What I have here is some Moore's hot wing buffalo sauce. And we're just going to drizzle this across here. Just like this. Now you can take a spoon and kind of spread it out a little bit, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it drizzled like that. And then I have here some mozzarella cheese. I shredded this myself, and I'm going to go ahead and put that right on here. I'm going to try to get it as close to the edge as I can without going over because I don't want to waste it on the pan. Now I have, when I'm making pizza, what I call the 3-topping rule. And that is simply this, that if I have 3 or more toppings, then the cheese goes on top of the toppings. If I have 1 or 2 toppings, then the cheese goes underneath the toppings. We like lots of cheese, and since I'm only going to be putting 2 toppings now on here, we're just going to go with just that little amount right there. Now, I have here some shredded chicken. This is 1 chicken breast, and I seasoned it with Fat Granny's Cajun steak seasoning, and I had this in the smoker earlier, and so we're just going to spread this shredded chicken out over our pizza. Now look, you can, once you make this crust, you can put anything you want on it. It does not have to be this chicken. You can put pepperoni, any traditional or however crazy you want to get with your pizza toppings. Go ahead, get crazy with your pizza topping because this crust will work with any of them. I just thought it would be nice to make the buffalo style pizza here. So now what I have here is, this is Trapper's. It is sweet and hot jalapenos. So these are fairly hot, but they also have this beautiful sweetness to them. I went ahead and took them out of the jar so I could drain them off a little bit easier here. You don't want them super wet when you're putting them on your pizza. Now, if you want to try this pizza and you really don't want it any hotter than that buffalo sauce is going to make it, then you can certainly use a milder pepper. You can use pepperoncini. Those are usually pretty mild. Or, look, you can just leave the peppers off, however you want to do it. But we're going to now just put this back in the 425-degree oven for probably about 7 minutes. Really, all we're looking for is for this cheese to get a nice melt. So I'll see you here in a little bit. Okay, our pizza is done cooking. I have had it sitting out here about 8 minutes just to kind of cool off a little bit. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut it up. I did put it on a different pan here. So I'm not trying to fool you. Our pan was a little bit dirty, a little bit warped because it was in a very hot oven. And so here we go. Let's just get us a piece of this right here. Ooh, that's trying to escape. Okay, so here we go. A low-carb buffalo chicken pizza. It holds up pretty well, as you can see. Oh, man. This is so good. I'll tell you what. That buffalo sauce was just right amount on there. These hot and sweet jalapenos. They really set it off. I mean, if you're looking for a low carb option, you love pizza. What my wife does, my wife loves pizza. I've told you before, she's low carb. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this. She does low carb. We go to the pizza place and she just scrapes the toppings and the cheese off and leaves the crust behind because there's so many carbs in that crust. But she's going to be able to eat this, and that is magical. She doesn't have to cheat on her diet. Each slice of this comes in at about 4 total carbs, about 3 if you're doing net carbs. And so if you're counting your carbs, you kind of know, oh, maybe I have 12 carbs to spend. I can eat 3 of these slices of pizza. And if you couldn't even eat 1 slice of pizza if it had a flour-based crust in it. So, bottom line, I tried it. You should too.